I've always said if we're ever going to visit a museum while exploring Arkansas, it really has to be a good one. Well, folks, this is it. Crystal Bridges in Bentonville really is an amazing place. In fact, words cannot describe it. You really and truly have to come here and experience it for yourself. It is an extraordinary setting, uniting the power of art with the beauty of nature.
The unique experience of Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art begins even before you enter the building. A huge polished stainless steel tree sculpture entitled Yield by Roxy Payne reflects and contrasts with nature surrounding it by varying with the weather and time of day. Crystal Bridges, in fact, is a gift to the American people from Alice Walton, daughter of the late Walmart founder Sam Walton. There is no admission fee or parking fee. You see, it all began in 2005 when Alice set out to begin buying up some of the greatest works of art in this country's possession. One of the first was Asher Duran's Kindred Spirits, which was tucked away somewhere in the New York Public Library. Alice Walton bought it for a reported $35 million. Next was George Washington for $8.1 million, a 1797 portrait painted by Gilbert Stuart during Washington's last year as president. And Alice didn't stop there. There's Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveter, which she bought for an undisclosed price, and Andy Warhol's Dolly Parton. Yes, Alice was on a roll. And as you might have guessed, it all caused a bit of a stir with some critics in the art world, buying up original masterpieces and bringing them to Bentonville, Arkansas? Why the nerve of someone doing such a thing? But Alice Walton's argument was, why should art only be in a few select major urban centers? Why not have American art in America's heartland, where it belongs, and where more Americans can have access to it and appreciate it? And thus was the creation of Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, enclosed in a structure that in itself is a magnificent work of art.
The collection is currently arranged chronologically, so you enter into the gallery, you enter into the colonial period, so you start at the very beginning of our country's beginning, and as you walk through, you are walking through time, essentially.
Many of the paintings you'll immediately recognize as seeing somewhere before, especially in American history books. But here you can experience the original artwork on its original canvas.
The vision for Crystal Bridges was to take the power of art and the beauty of nature, and it's the intersection of those two, and that's exemplified here with the physical building. It's exemplified throughout the property and throughout the 3 miles of trails that run zigzag up and down through the woods and through the ravines.
And it's hiking trails and even, I guess, one trail for mountain biking.
Yes, there are trails to suit all types of people. If you want to walk, if you want to ride a bike, if you are in a wheelchair, you can access any number of our trails.
And of course the overlook, you can either walk to it or drive right up to it, and a wonderful view of the entire setting.
Yes, and I encourage you to do that. You can see the setting from another view other than where we're standing right now, and we're actually going to move the overlook, and we're going to move it a little bit further from where you'll see it to this section right here behind me, to make it more accommodating and to accommodate more people. I think the significance of having Crystal Bridges right here in Bentonville, Arkansas is that we're an American museum of art, and this is the middle of America. We are here for not only the people of Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas, but for the rest of the state of Arkansas and the nation and beyond.
Lake Catherine State Park near Hot Springs is one of those state parks that was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps back during the 1930s. There are several decent hiking trails here, and the one we're going to take today is the Falls Branch Trail, which will take you down to Falls Creek Falls. So, let's go.
Lake Catherine State Park is actually located halfway between Hot Springs and Malvern at the end of Highway 171. After entering the state park, drive to the far end past the amphitheater near Camp Area C, where the trailhead is located. When you start off on the trail after a short distance, you'll notice that it branches off into the other two trails, thus the name Falls Branch Trail. Just stay on Falls Branch, which is blazed in red. This loop trail is about 2 miles long, and you should allow at least 1.5 to 2 hours to complete. If you make this hike during the summer months, there is the extra added benefit of having a park interpreter for a guided hike. But springtime would probably be your best bet since it's the wettest time of the year, and you'll be able to enjoy the other smaller creek along the way with all the mini waterfalls. You'll be crossing this creek 4 to 5 times during the first half of the hike, and so there are several footbridges located throughout the trail to make your trek a little bit easier. The middle portion of the hike is the one that's the most challenging, if you will, since the trail takes a hairpin turn up and over Horseshoe Mountain. But there are plenty of benches along the way whenever you need to take a bench break. After that, it's all downhill, literally, for the remainder of the few hundred yards or so to Falls Creek Falls. Once you do finally reach the falls, time to take it all in. If it's an overcast day, you can experiment with different shutter speeds with your camera to capture that silky smooth effect of the running water, which won't work on sunny days due to overexposure. With a little practice and no time at all, you too will be taking those gallery-type photos you always see in the brochures and travel guides advertising Arkansas state parks. Now, if I may let you in on a little secret, if you don't feel like hiking the entire loop, you can actually begin off to the left from the parking area, which is the return trail that follows the lakeshore, thereby cutting down your hiking distance to 1.4 miles round trip. But any way you slice it, Falls Creek Falls at Lake Catherine State Park is a real nice, pristine setting to enjoy an afternoon. Yes, by all means, add it to your waterfall list. Overlooking the juncture of the White and North Fork rivers in the town of Norfork back during the early 1800s,
There was quite a bit of fur trading that took place here, and it's what prompted Jacob Wolf to homestead here. He was later elected as a representative in the Arkansas Territorial General Assembly, and in 1829 passed legislation to have a permanent county courthouse built in what was then the town of Liberty. And thus today, this two-story log structure happens to be the oldest public building in the state.
A 1999 courthouse restoration grant from the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program provided funding to restore this structure to its appearance when it served as a territorial courthouse.
The condition was still pretty good, actually, for a building this old. But there was some rot in it, and there was some stuff underneath it that was settling pretty good. So it took a lot of people working a lot of hours. The old roof up there, we had to replace that whole thing because it was leaking pretty bad. So, but for a building that old, it wasn't in too bad a shape.
So after this served its purpose as a courthouse, then Jacob Wolf, it was actually his home then?
Yes, sir, he lived in it, and through the archaeological discoveries, this was the main house. They had another house out here for their servants and stuff, and then the kitchen was just off to the front, or they believe it was. They were, when they were excavating the ground, of course, we had Bob, a guy named Bob out of the University of Arkansas, he was here. And they were out there digging, and they called me one day and said, "You need to get down here quick." So I thought, well, what's up? Tommy Jameson was here. He's our architect. I got down here, and they found a tooth. Well, you know, you find any part of a human, it just shuts the whole project down. So, well, we didn't know what we was going to do, and so they was going to take it over to the university and have it analyzed and see who it was. So the story was that Jacob Wolf was buried here on the property, and so they thought they might have found some of that. Make a long story short, my secretary, Nancy Wolf, is a direct descendant. So we were going to use her DNA to see if that was the same thing. They got it over to the university and found it was a bear's tooth. So that's when they figured out, well, it had a bear for supper or something, and there was a lot of fish scales there. So, but it's a very interesting old building, it really is.
But Jacob Wolf did die in this house.
Yes, sir, he sure did. He died right here, him and again, the story was, and you hear conflict and stuff, that he was buried on the property because they didn't want to take him anyplace else because they were afraid that Indians would dig him up. But he was a trapper, a trader, and had an old mercantile here for a while. And this was just a general meeting area, of course, with two rivers coming in right here. It was natural for this house to be right here.
It was quite a busy place then.
Very busy for this area, I'm sure it was. And like I say, this is the front of the house, and everybody. The river was the main thoroughfare back up here. The old paddle wheels. They tell about the paddle wheels coming all the way up and through here and bringing their goods, and the trappers would come in from the forest and bring in their furs and stuff. And this was the hub of the area. Of course, it was in Israel. It was a different county then. And then when they redid the counties and everything, this became part of Baxter County. We acquired the property from the city of Norfork. They had the property, and they realized right quick it was a treasure that didn't need to be lost. So they came to me, and we did the deal, and the county ended up with it, and we applied for the grants. And I've been doing this 15 years, and it's probably one of the best things I think I've ever done, because it was a long, hard, hot at times, but the rewards very evident.
Probably feels good to have the state's oldest structure in your county.
Yeah, a little bit of bragging rights when I'm at the judges' meetings and stuff. But it is. And then, like I say, to be in such good shape. Really.
The grounds of the Wolf House are considered to be one of Arkansas's richest historic archaeological sites. Court was held in what was then a large upper-level room. Judges and lawyers traveled from distant parts of the territory to appear at the regularly scheduled county and territorial court sessions, which lasted for several days and sometimes more than a week. The county clerk's office was located in the lower level. John Houston, brother of American legend Sam Houston, served as the county clerk, who, by the way, was the most important officer in county government in the territorial and early statehood periods, since he had to not only understand the laws of the day, but also to record land and other property sales, as well as record the transactions of the county and circuit courts. Also on the lower level was the jury room, where the jury would carry out their deliberations. The dog trot or breezeway served an important function for both courthouse and family home. It would channel the breezes off the rivers and provide a sort of pioneer air conditioning. During courthouse days, this is where everyone gathered, since notices would be posted informing residents of elections, unclaimed letters from the post office, and land for sale. After the county seat moved, this was indeed a bustling family home with 16 children and 5 stepchildren. After Arkansas became a state in 1836, settlers followed the White River for hundreds of miles into the northern part of the state. Thousands of settlers passed by here, stopping and trading at Wolf's store, and as a result, Jacob Wolf prospered. Later, an early 19th century local historian wrote that Wolf had perhaps the largest household of kindred and friends of any man on the White River, a fact that nobody ever disputed.
Just south of DeGray Lake near Arkadelphia is an area called the Lower Lake Waterfowl Refuge, about 400 acres worth of natural beauty in which you can spot anything from mallards, wood ducks, gadwall, widgeon, and yes, even bald eagles.
We have one active eagle nest that's been present since 2008, and the last winter of 2010 and 11, they did successfully nest there with 2 hatchlings, 2 eaglets.
You have plans here for a walkway, a pathway later on?
Yes, on the east side of the lake, it'll be accessible on the Cattle Valley side of the Lower Lake, and hopefully begin construction next year. But it'll be a walkable, watchable wildlife trail with a pier out into the Lower Lake. Should be wheelchair accessible as well and paved, so we're really looking forward to get that in place.
The best time of the year, of course, to come here and view all of the waterfowl is during the winter months, during the migratory season. Before driving into the Lower Lake Waterfowl Refuge itself, you can first stop by the Army Corps of Engineers DeGray Lake Visitor Center just before crossing the dam. Here you can view up close what you may be able to spot out on the water. By boat is probably the best method for optimum eagle spotting, since 9 times out of 10, an eagle will usually be perched high in a tree right alongside the shoreline and can easily be spotted even way across the lake, especially if it's a bald eagle. The DeGray Lake area is really rich in Native American history. The Caddos originally inhabited this area. They were a hunter-gathering people who were also skilled in agriculture. The history of the Caddos in this region has been traced back to the year 700. They were also the people living here at the time of the De Soto expedition in 1541. The Caddo way of life was changed forever when the Spanish explorers introduced them to the horse. If you also want to do a little hiking while in the DeGray Lake area, a really good trail is the Arlie Moore Interpretive Trail, located on the north side of DeGray from the Lower Lake Waterfowl Refuge. This trail is a little more than 2 miles long and is a double loop, so you can cut your hiking distance in half if need be. There are interpretive stops along the way which feature information panels. A trail guide booklet is available and can be picked up at the Army Corps of Engineers Visitor Center.
So check out for yourself the Lower Lake Waterfowl Refuge south of DeGray Lake near Arkadelphia, or for that matter, all the waterfowl around the lake itself. And for more on this destination, or to order a copy of an episode, visit our website, aetn.org/exploringarkansas. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.